Welcome back to HorrorHaunted AI, the ultimate destination where nightmares become reality. Tonight, we are stepping into a chillin' place where shadows linger and the dead do not rest. Stories from haunted cemeteries, the kind that will make your spine tingle and make you wonder if you're ever truly alone. Stay with us. If you dare. Have you ever walked through a cemetery at midnight, thinking the only sound you'd hear was the crunch of leaves underfoot, only to feel a presence just behind you? What you're about to hear is a story from Willow Creek Cemetery, a place the locals avoid after dark. By the end of this story, you may never walk past a gravestone without a shiver down your spine. Haunted Cemetery. It was a foggy October night in the sleepy town of Willow Creek, a place where even the bravest of locals avoided wandering after sundown. The town cemetery was legendary not for its beauty, but for the whispers of restless souls said to roam its paths. Broken tombstones jutted from the earth at strange angles, and moss grew over names long forgotten. Some said that if you walked through on certain nights, the dead would remember you and follow. It's the dear for friends Emma, Jake, Lisa, and Riandis cited to test the legend for themselves. It's just stories, Emma insisted, though her voice carried a nervous edge. Ghosts aren't real. They approached the cemetery gates, old wrought iron covered in rust and twisting ivy. The fog swirled around their ankles, as if the ground itself was breathing. Each step inside felt heavier than the last. Colder than I expected, Ryan muttered, hugging his jacket closer. The cemetery was a labyrinth of shadowy tombstones. The old oaks overhead creaked and groaned, their skeletal branches clawing at the sky. Somewhere, a crow cawed, and the sound echoed like a warning. The shadow as they reached the oldest part of the cemetery. The fog thickened. The moonlight barely reached the ground, leaving more shadows than illumination. Suddenly, out of the corner of Emma's eye, a figure darted across the path. She froze. Did anyone else see that? She whispered. Jake's flashlight flickered. Then came the whisper. Soft, almost like it came from the wind. Why are you here? It wasn't from any of them. Their hearts raced as they glanced around, the darkness closing in. Lisa's hands trembled. This isn't funny anymore, she said, her voice barely audible. The grave that moved, they stumbled upon a gravestone. Unlike any other. Freshly disturbed soil. No name, no date. Emma knelt, brushing leaves away with her fingers. Suddenly, the ground beneath them quaked. Jake tripped backward, screaming as the gravestone tilted, revealing a dark, hollow space beneath. From the shadows emerged something not fully human, not fully dead. Its eyes glowed faintly in the mist. Leave or join us, it whispered to Emma in a voice only she could hear. Panic set in. The friends bolted, branches whipping across their faces, roots trying to trip them with every step. The whispers followed them, multiplying. You shouldn't have come. You shouldn't have come. The fog and the lost friend, the fog thickened with every step. visibility dropped to only a few feet. Lisa tripped on a hidden root and vanished into the swirling mist. "Lisa!" they shouted in unison. The mist swallowed her completely. Her voice didn't return, only silence followed, broken by the distant sound of faint, unearthly laughter. Emma, Jake, and Ryan finally burst through the cemetery gates, their lungs burning, hearts pounding, shaking with terror. The evidence of the unseen days later, they reviewed the photos taken that night. At first glance, everything seemed normal. But on closer inspection, shadows moved behind them, faces stared from the darkness that shouldn't exist, figures half-formed, eyes glowing faintly, whispers frozen in the still image. No one could explain it. None of them ever doubted the stories again. The cemetery had claimed its mark, not physically but in memory and fear. The whispering tombstones the next night, Emma couldn't sleep. Every time her eyes closed, she saw the cemetery, the fog, and the shadows lurking. Unable to shake the feeling, she decided to return alone. She entered the cemetery under a crescent moon, flashlight trembling in her hand. The tombstones seemed to lean closer than before, their inscriptions warped and unreadable in the dim light. Suddenly, she heard Ita's soft, continuous whisper. Not words, just a rhythm, a chant almost, like the stones themselves were speaking. Emma, Emma, you shouldn't Her heart pounded. She tried to turn back, but the path she had taken the night before seemed gone, replaced by a labyrinth of unfamiliar graves. Every tombstone she passed seemed to watch her, as if the cemetery itself had grown alive. Then, a Handa, shadowy outline reached from behind a leaning stone. Emma screamed, shining her light, but nothing was there. Only the whispers remained. She realized one terrifying truth. The cemetery remembered. Every visitor, every curiosity, every dare. And now it remembered her, personally. The unearthly reflection, Emma ran to the center of the cemetery, hoping to find the gate, but the fog thickened, forming shapes figures resembling the friends she had lost the night before. As she approached a cracked fountain in the center, she saw her own reflection in the still water. But it wasn't her. The reflection smiled, eyes glowing faintly, lips mouthing words she could not hear. "You belong to us." She stumbled backward, almost tripping over a root. When she looked again, the reflection was gone. In its place, the water rippled as if something had moved beneath the surface. Emma felt a cold touch on her shoulder. She spun around, but no one was there. The whispers returned, louder, circling her. "Join! Join! Join! Panic surged. She sprinted blindly, the fog pressing in like walls, each step heavier than the last. The cemetery gate finally. She saw it, the iron gate. Rusted, crooked, but real. She ran toward it, limbs burning. The whispers intensified, merging into a chorus of unseen voices. As she reached for the latch, a Honda translucent, pale hand gripped hers. Emma froze, her flashlight falling to the ground. The hand belonged to Lisa, but her face was pale, hollow, eyes empty and glowing faintly. Emma, don't leave me. Emma pulled with all her strength. Lisa's hand slipped through hers like mist. The gate creaked open, and Emma ran out into the night, gasping for air, collapsing on the pavement outside. The cemetery stood behind her, silent. But she knew it was watching, waiting. The dead weren't done. The final warning back home. Emma finally tried to explain everything to Jake and Ryan. But their faces went pale. Had experienced their own strange encounters that night. Shadows appearing in mirrors, whispers echoing in empty rooms, cold hands brushing their backs. Emma held up the camera with the photos from the first night. The shadows had multiplied, creeping closer in every shot. The cemetery had followed them in spirit. The story spread among the few townsfolk brave enough to listen. Willow Creek Cemetery became more than a place of rest. It was a warning. Some curiosity invites danger, and the dead never forget. Some doors are better left unopened. Some graves are better left alone. Respect the resting. And you may sleep tonight. But for those who dare to venture, the whispers will never let them rest. There is a reason some places are avoided after sunset. Some doors should remain unopened. Some graves are not meant for the living to disturb. Moral respect. The resting. Curiosity can be dangerous. Some secrets, once uncovered, cannot be ignored, and the consequences can follow you long after you leave. The story of Willow Creek Cemetery reminds us that there is a thin line between courage and folly, and crossing it can awaken what should remain asleep. If you felt the goosebumps tonight, imagine walking through a foggy cemetery, hearing whispers calling your name. Remember, the dead are patient, and some curiosities awaken what should remain asleep. If you want more spine-chilling tales, haunted stories, and real ghostly encounters, make sure to subscribe to HorrorHaunted AI and hit the notification bell. We'll guide you through the darkest cemeteries, the creepiest towns, and the restless spirits that haunt them. Your next nightmare is only one click away. Are you brave enough to face it? Eerie wind fades, distant whispers echo, soft owl hoot ends the story.